I'll feel like I'm in labor. It's like it's deceiving me. I won't feel the contraction again. Then I just saw blood in the middle of the night. And when we got there, it was an emergency. But by that time, I was feeling so much pain. I could no longer walk. The doctor saw my leg and I was like, what? What is this? Yeah, my vagina everywhere was just swollen. Like it's so swollen that the child cannot pass. I could see my son kicking, moving. I was already tired of the pain. I said, anything just to stop this pain. It's too much. And the matron said, no. First time. Oh, this first time, that's what they used to do. Who told you to push? She quickly called the doctor. The doctor rushed in. I said, Jesus, intervene. I said that 3 times. Pushing. It took me about 15 to 20 minutes to push out all that water from my leg. They were pouring it inside the bucket. Hello guys, welcome to the 5th episode of Amazing End. Today on this series, I'm going to be sharing my pregnancy journey. My name is Damilola Joshua. People know me as Dakins on social media. It's like my brand name, all right? Today I want to share my pregnancy journey for both my firstborn and my second, but most especially my first child. One day I just, told my husband, I said, let's make babies. And just like that, I conceived, and that month I missed my period. My stomach was so flat because I was such a gym rat. Like I gym a lot, so even to almost 5 months you would not know that I'm pregnant. Like it's literally very flat, very, very flat. So I woke up one afternoon and boom, there's just belly bump. So just like that, everybody started calling me Yabiji. If you're in Nigeria, you know the saying a lot. So once you're pregnant, they call you Yabiji, especially in the western part of Nigeria. So shortly after, first time pregnancy, people will say, do general hospital. Some another person will say, don't do general hospital, do private hospital, blah, blah, blah. To cut the long story short, we were naive, so we did public hospital. It's not to say that every general hospital or public hospital is not good, but we're not just so lucky. So just bear with me. I started going for checkups. I don't miss it. As early as 2 months, my husband is always too medical conscious. As early as 2 months, we already started going for checkup and all of that. Later on, when it was getting closer to delivery, my stomach was so big, like really big. And I did not even take any sugary stuff, maybe mineral, whatever, soft drink, carbonated, nothing of such. But my pregnancy keeps getting bigger. And I was not as big as this, as chubby as this. So fast forward to the labor day, few days to the labor, I started noticing, a few weeks to my delivery day, I started noticing swollen legs. And the swollen leg got really, really swollen. And being a first time mom, my first experience with pregnancy, I really didn't know better. And it's not like my mom live around to be able to check if it's okay or not. By the way, she's not even a medical practitioner to know some things. So my legs started getting swollen. Like it got so big that it's so heavy to even walk. Little do I know, I was just thinking, oh, it's normal. Pregnant women have swollen legs. And it got swollen to the extent that I could feel that it has gotten swollen to my vagina. Yes, it was that bad. But I still didn't, I didn't think much of it. I just thought, okay, it's just pregnancy symptoms and all. And mind you, I was going to the general hospital every day. I first registered in the private hospital and somebody told me that it's not private hospital, it's not going to be good. General is good. I went to general, so I already had a card with them and all. So when this happened, fast forward to the day of delivery, I was due for delivery, right? My mom started getting worried and she came around and took me on exercise for some weeks. We're doing exercise. She would tell me to walk fast. That I should have given birth up till now. And the way my style is, I'll feel like I'm in labor. It's like it's deceiving me. I won't feel the contraction again. So this has been happening for weeks, even before my mom now decided to come over to assist me with exercise. Maybe it's going to help me put to bed. We did the exercise. We've been doing it for like a week or two. And on that very day, my mom, we went on exercise and we trekked, we went on a very far distance. And then when we got home, middle of that night, I already started feeling some sort of contraction. But I felt like, oh, that's what I used to do. And this time I just saw blood in the middle of the night. And I think something around 12 a.m. I've gone to the hospital earlier that day in the evening that I'm feeling contraction than the usual. And they told me to go back home, that if it gets serious, I should come back. So when that thing happened in the middle of the night, I went back to the hospital, which is the general hospital. When I got there, the matron or the midwife, whoever was in charge of giving birth and helping pregnant women, deliver, she had already done about delivered two pregnant women. The second one happened to be twins. So she said she's exhausted. Mind you, there's inducement and every other thing we usually buy if you want to go and give birth in general hospital. And so, considering that I was already in pain and I'm somebody who endures very well, you will not know how much pain I'm going through. I just do it as if. So, I guess they didn't take me very seriously. So, I was there. The labor started getting serious. She said she's tired, that we should just wait for the next person. That is, my mother keep begging her that just induce her. She's already getting contraction often. She said, well, we should just wait. It will be morning soon. We should wait for the next person. By morning, the contraction would have been way faster. There's a way you dilated. You check every 15 minutes, then it reduces to 2 minutes, then seconds. So she said the next matron or the next person, midwife, will be the one to, deliver the baby. And she just passed it to the next person. The lady came. She's an elderly woman. She should be in her 60s. She was a grumpy, hostile woman. And this time, she started saying, you know what? What is it? Your cervix is not open. It's 6 centimeters. Is it that you're not meeting with your husband? You guys are not having enough sex, blah, 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 blah. Just saying all sort of things. And then about 3-4 times, they had to check me. And that is very painful. They would draw the cervix. Very painful. They keep doing that. And I was still enduring the pain. At this time, I was already going through a lot. In the middle of this, I started giving symptoms of I want to comfort. I was like, so the cold, and I didn't eat because I didn't have appetite. I was in pain, of course. Food was not important to me. They kept on giving me glucose. Somebody came and just said, they have little stomach cramps, and the lady gave to birth. In my present, they gave birth to twins. Somebody gave birth to twins. In my present, a 40-years-old woman gave birth. Like 4 people gave birth. 4 kids they delivered 4 babies on that very day. 1 was a twin, and the rest was just, one child and all of that. So right there started getting to me. I was still there. Even one of the people that came to deliver our baby, the matron was saying, look at this girl. This is our first child. Do you see her crying? Do you see her acting all weak and lazy? Can't you see how brave and courageous she is? And you're giving birth to your 3rd child and you're shouting, screaming all over the hospital. Are you the only one to give birth? Who told you to go and get pregnant? If you know that you cannot, put yourself together, why are you acting like a child? This girl here, can't you see how young she is? And she's holding the pain. This is your 3rd child and you're screaming. Do you want to scream down the hospital? She kept on saying all sorts of things. I was still there, quiet. I was still there. She said, well, my water have not break. It's supposed to break. My mother said, why don't you just induce her? My husband being a gentleman, he has been there in the car. He will come and check me again. If not to get delivered, he was just staying at the car park. He slept there overnight. Then Friday evening was when the contraction started. Yes. And then we went to the hospital when it got serious on early morning on Saturday, which is middle of the night on Saturday. Then Sunday came, which the grumpy woman was the one in charge. And we're there 2 centimeters. In that pain, she told me to go to a lab, which is a bit far from the hospital. My husband drove me again to the lab. It was painful to be checking. She said, it's been more than 24 hours and they just need to check my heartbeat, my child heartbeat. That is, she don't feel like my son heart is beating, and that she's a matron. And when our child was going through a lot of pain, she just told our child to do CS. Mind you, I'm not saying that doing cesarean section, I hope I pronounce it well, CS is bad. But I didn't have difficulties in delivering, right? It was just a matter of my water don't break. So I don't think it's enough a reason for CS. If people want to have natural birth, let them have it. It's willingness. She kept on using our child, for example, that they should take us to, there's a place here in Lagos, Ile-Ipo or General Hospital in Igodo, that they should just do the CS and, it's not that serious. Have to induce me, let this child come out. She doesn't. I didn't even know the rupturing your pregnancy was a thing at the time. So I was there, right there where people were coming to visit their loved ones that just put to bed, and I was still in the labor room, the room where pregnant women stays. You know the way General Hospital works now. Right there was this child. He was about 3 years old. He was just pacing around. If he go, he would touch me, and I was in pain. He will go again. He would touch me. He will go. Kids being kids, and then it got to a stage like the third or the fourth time that child paced around again and touched me. He was not pinching me. He was just touching me. Kids and touching. I held onto that boy hand like this. I can never forget. His mom was seated in the next bed beside me. She came to visit our loved one who just put to bed. I held that boy and I was like, if you touch me again, don't touch me. You need to see the action. The mother was terrified. She was like, come. But because she's a mom as well, she understand that I was going through pain. And I think about it, it's so ridiculous. Like, why do I have to threaten that boy? That poor boy. I hope I don't give him any sort of trauma. Because I held his hand and like, do not touch me. That was the only thing I said in like more than 24 hours. I was not talking to anyone. I was just quiet, just doing. And the way my pain is in the second pregnancy, I realized that falling asleep when you're in labor pain is just the doctor. My second doctor was the one. In fact, let me just ignore that for now. I used to fall asleep during labor, and that's how much of a pain I experienced. So the woman refuses to induce me. After testing, they said my son is beating very fine, considering that I've not eaten. She was scared that nothing. And later on, I realized that some people, their pregnancy, when they are going through labor, contraction and all of that, they don't even get to stay that long before the child is affected, maybe with the brain. Maybe they might come out and they are not thinking well, their sense is this because they've stayed too long in the stomach when it's time for delivery. It was later, maybe 2-3 years later, I realized that indeed God is faithful, because that thing I experienced for 2 days labor, no food, no strength, in pain. Abba, how come my child is healthy? So at that point, I said, okay. They did the test. They said, okay, my son is looking good, no issue whatsoever. Then my husband, the woman is in Netherlands, said, why is it my husband is too gentle? She doesn't like men that are too gentle. Why is it my mom that is coming to her and ask her about the pregnancy and the status and what was going on? Why is it not my husband? Why is he sitting and not saying anything? He's just too gentle to a fault. You should come and ask him. After all, he's my husband and he is his child. When it was early morning on Monday morning, remember, I've had side contractions since Friday evening. They told me to come back, which falls to midnight on Saturday was when I actually went to the hospital. By Monday morning, early in the morning, when it was around 2 a.m., my husband could not take it again. He just walked up to them in the office and said, what? This woman is wicked. Pack your stuff, pack everything, and let's go to another hospital. She kept on shouting, we should come and sign. Oh, if we say we do not, this will come and sign. She cannot induce a first-time pregnant woman. She doesn't do that. That's what I'll be doing. And then is it even a sickness to induce someone? And that if she start that with me, every of my child, that's how they will be inducing me and all of that. So she's not going to induce me. After 2 days, labor pain? Up till now, nothing you won't tell me. I don't fit carry my leg go General Hospital for anything else. I don't trust them because of my experience. It doesn't mean some people have not had issues whereby they were able to sort it out soon. But there's this negligence, laziness, incompetency that comes with them sometimes, And I went, he got angry and he said we should pack all our stuff. And then we went to the first private hospital that we initially registered. And when we got there, it was an emergency. But by that time, I was feeling so much pain. I could no longer walk. They had to just sort of carry me to the lab. When we got to the lab, the doctor saw my leg and I was like, what? What is this? He could see that my vagina everywhere was just swollen. My private parts, everywhere it's like the swollen leg got to my lap, like, it was really that terrible, everything. And then he said, okay, when we got there, they now realized that they said my BP was high already. They gave me injection to calm my BP. They placed me on drip and then they induced me. When they induced me, thinking that, okay, something would, come up, and nothing still happened. After a while, the doctor came and said, your water didn't break. I said, yes. They said, okay. They should have break it. They just use scissors to, break it for you and all of that. And I don't know. After a while, the doctor came after waiting, said something is blocking the pregnancy, like the water, like the swollen leg has blocked everywhere. Like it's so swollen that the child cannot pass. I could see my son kicking, moving. He was just trying to come out. So that's why the one said I should go and do heartbeat test for the pregnant, because the baby has been stressed. We can see the movement. The child is kicking. He checked the heartbeat. He said, but there is no place to pass. Then they told my husband to come and sign for CS so that they can do, considering it's an emergency and they don't know my history with the pregnancy since I've not been coming since like after 2 months of that I got pregnant. My husband was so scared to sign. And my mom being an African woman, she did not even want to hear anything CS. She started rolling on the hospital floor, praying to God, telling God, no, this is not what I signed up for. They will not do surgery. They will not do this and that. My husband was already down, because my strength was already failing me. I was not able to talk. He came to the ward. He held my hands, and I could just see water rolling out of his eyes. Then I realized, what's the problem? I even thought something had happened to the child. And they said they will have to do a CS. What? I said, you know what? At that point, I did not care. I said, I was already giving up. I said, if my enemy want to die, let my enemy die. Let me just give birth to this child. I said, no, nobody will die. I was already tired of the pain. I said, anything just to stop this pain. It's too much. And mind you, I was still not crying. No. Later on, the doctor said, okay, you know what? Let's sign. They were doing the whole signing thing. While I was still there, so Holy Spirit just told me that. Something just told me at the time, I didn't even know it was Holy Spirit. Someone just said, just use the last strength in you to invite God. And I said, Jesus, intervene. I said that 3 times, and it was like the last strength. I got tired. 2 minutes later, the nurses, the midwives, matron, everybody was already in the ward. The doctor was in his office trying to convince my family, my husband, my mom that they should sign. And right there, 2 minutes later, I shouted, Jesus, intervene. That water that was in my leg, I don't even know how that is even possible. I started pushing. And at the time I was pushing, I thought it was baby because I was still naive. And the matron said, no. First time. All this first time, that's what they used to do. Who told you to push? She quickly called the doctor. The doctor rushed in and said, why are you pushing? And when he saw it, it was that water that I was pushing out, not the pregnancy. It took another 15. They were just looking at me like they were watching TV. They just all stood. They were looking at me like, and I was pushing. It took me about 15 to 20 minutes to push out all that water from my leg. What sort of miracle is that? For my leg, I pushed it. Then I had a bucket. They put it nearby. As I was pushing, I was seeing they were pouring it inside the bucket. They were pouring it inside the bucket. This is not the water where a child stays in. No. I'm talking about the water that blocked the place where the child wants to pass. I don't know what sort of water is that, and I did not even further do any research. After, of course, they've induced me earlier, right? So I pushed down one, and the doctor went back to my mom and my husband and said, well, she's a strong girl. I think we should give her a try. Let's see if she can do it. He said, the way I am strong, Dad, it feels like I can do. Let's give her a try. And that was it. He stood there. He said, okay, so now I want to rupture you. He used scissors. He cut it. And then he even cut me. He gave me tear. I don't know how he knows that the baby is big. Not really big, but considering my stature, it's still big. So he first cut me, which is my vagina, my private part. He cut it so that the baby head can pass through. And then he told me that once I feel, and he ruptured me and said, once I feel push, I should push that. So after like few minutes, I started feeling like the baby is coming. So I don't want to push. Then I start to push. I start to push, and just like that, after the tear, it still went ahead, and my baby had the tear more. It took after the delivery, my baby came out. The first thing, he did not even wait for them to beat him before he started shouting. It's like the baby's already tired, which is Jeffrey, my firstborn. He just came out, and the doctor took about another 30 to 45 minutes to stitch me. He kept on saying, I kept on telling him, I said, because you know one thing about pregnancy, the moment you deliver, you feel no pain, like absolutely no pain again. That's it. It depends, and the pain, whatever pain you've been going through for days or hours, ends there. Immediately, the baby comes out. When I say immediately, I'm saying it's even seconds. It doesn't even, you don't feel pain anymore. The moment my baby came out, they cleaned him. He had some dirt all over him. They cleaned him, and he started stitching me. He stitched me to this, and I was like, why is it taking so long? And he said, well, he would have to stitch me so that my husband, blah, blah, blah. Then he stitched. So that was that for Jeffrey. And when I sit back and think now, it was such a miracle. My second child, however, I did not even bother, which is Michelle. I did not bother going to general hospital. I just went to private hospital. I told him my history, things that happened during my firstborn, and he said, okay. I told him I was sleeping. He said, well, when a pain is too much for the brain, for the body to handle, it signals the brain to shut down for few seconds or few minutes. It's even seconds. The sleep, I just, when you're in pain, I'll just be like, that's the highest I used to do. And when I've gotten to the highest level of the pain. You will just see me holding something and then in the middle of that, I'll just fall asleep again. And then immediately I'll wake up because the contraction will wake me again. So he said, the pain I am having is way too much for my body to process. So it signals the brain to shut down. And this is the type of labor that I used to have. No water, no blood. So Michelle, my second child, happens to be the same way. Painful. And to think that my son, after that, tear, it's not good. It took weeks before that one healed because it's like another wound. They'll tell me, sit down like this, do like this, put your legs together, so that it will heal, so that I kept on doing all of that. And one thing again was when I just put to bed, if I'm feeding, I don't know if it happens to every mother, if I'm feeding my son for like few months after delivery, I'll be feeling it in my womb and my private part, like the pain. I'll be feeling like a sharp pain, and it will keep happening. The more it suck, the more I feel the pain. That's how much of a pain I used to feel. I'll be doing like that, couple with the tear. And you still have to feed. The child will peel off the nipple to turn to wound you. It will still heal back with his mouth. So, I was going through so many pain. There comes African mom. They have to do seat bath, and it's not your regular seat bath. It's seat bath that by the time you're coming out from the bedroom, you'll be sweating like a Christmas goat. I still did all of that. They'll tell me, put your legs together. But my mom usually is very, very helpful when it comes to babysitting during pregnancy or mogwa. She treats me like I will not even touch any, because me, I'm somebody who doesn't know how to fake. The moment I put to bed, I just want to be walking, doing everything, like sweep the floor, do the normal thing I usually do. My mom will say, no, it's just in your brain. You feel you're strong. You're not strong. Go and relax. And then my mom will not let me do anything for like a month or two, till she's doing her stay with me. I will not do much. I will not even do anything other than beating myself. She takes care of everything, do the laundry, do the, taking care of the kids, everything, like sweeping, everything. I don't get to do anything. She used to do an awesome job in terms of that, in that aspect. So my second child, I already told, because people will be wondering, how come my firstborn and my secondborn have the same date, August 19? It's because I induced the second one, so I didn't have to wait. So I was on family planning. Afterwards, I was using, control pills. I'm not recommending it for anyone, right? But it did work for me. And the month I stopped using control pills, which happens to be, I think, November, I took in again, just like that month. I think I took in December. I thought I was pregnant in December. So in December, I got pregnant because I stopped November taking the pills. on the 30th or 31st of November. I don't know if November reached 31st, but the last day of November I stopped. And next month I was pregnant. This time of course I told you the Holy Spirit used to let me know the gender. I told my husband, well, you've been wanting a fair looking girl, right? I can see that this child is fair and is a female. He was so excited. And then I started going to my private hospital, everything. And then, as God may have it, the doctor has to be a very religious person. He prays before he do anything. Even before he gives you injection, we say in Jesus' name. He was such an amazing elderly man. And elderly people are more good because the good ones do. They have a lot of experience. So I told him about this. He kept on checking my BP. I go for checkups. He checks my leg. During the 7-8 months, I constantly check my leg to see if it's swollen so we can avoid that water thing. Anything from August 5th, I'm due for delivery. So he said, if I want to deliver anytime, I can come. He induced me. Like, he didn't make the inducement look like a big deal. I can come, induce me, and I put to bed. I said, you know what? Since I'm already due August, and I know the kind of pregnancy I used to have, I'll be feeling like I want to put to bed, but I will not put to bed. So I already know my style. I came in earlier that morning on the 9th of August. I already had it planned, more like I'm going for CS. And I told him I'll be coming in to deliver today. And he said, okay. We got there. He prayed. He said, well, God, if you would want it, if it is your will that she gives birth on this day, make it happen. We just want to do our stuff like human. If it is your will that she put to bed today, let it happen. I'm doing my part. And he gives me the drugs and he sat it in, and then injection or something or stuff. I don't know. I can't remember, but he just induced me. And I went on by the day just because I was already feeling contraction. I used to feel contraction even before the delivery day. And I've been having to, because this my pregnancy was one of the, stressed me a little bit because the second one, the child was in my, like down the stomach. You know, sometimes you say until the child is 7 months before the pregnancy drops. So right from time, the pregnancy has always been down. I was finding it hard to sit on its stool for as early as 5 months, 4 months. That's how much it quickly reveals itself. It's like I used to say, oh, this child is such a show off. I could sense that this child will be someone that likes to show themselves very well. Like, and truly, when I gave birth to my daughter, she loves spotlight. She doesn't mind to be the attention of her. She likes to be the one you're talking about in the room, you know? She likes the attention and all of that. I said, this child would like attention because tell me why a 4-month pregnancy is looking like 7 months. It was so big. I'm like, okay. And that was it. So during the pregnancy, sometimes I wake up, my hand is paining me. Sometimes I find it difficult to catch my breath. There are times where I will wake up in the middle of the night. Everywhere is every window, every curtain is wide open. I won't be able to catch my breath. It's more like I lack oxygen. And my husband will have to take hand fan and start blowing because we were going through a lot at the time. He will start blowing me. I will say I can't catch it. There are times where in the middle of the night, as late as 1 a.m., we will leave our apartment. And we live in a very residential area. It's like an estate. Everywhere is quiet. We will leave our apartment to go outside in the same compound though. But I feel like I need more hair. So we'll go and sit with me. You'll be feeling sleepy. We'll be dozing off. I'll stay there for like few minutes to be able to catch air and go back inside. Sometimes I want to cross the road. I will feel a very sharp pain. I will just hang in there. I'll just struggle. So Michelle, oh, no. He shake me. I know say I want born gay. My husband say women things and wahala. We wanted to have a boy. No drama. Women and drama. This why it's the old drama. We just used to joke about it. So on the delivery date again, which is on the 19th of August, I went to the hospital. We're just, the contraction had been happening before then, but like I said, it would just come and go. And in less than, I calculated 12 hours, I put to bed. Same thing, same pain. Same. In fact, Michelle, she was such a show off. She kept on raising her buttocks. You will see that this child just raised their buttocks. You'll be seeing her movement when she turn her head, when she raising her buttocks, when she's, I don't know. The whole movement is like you see her so restless. I don't know whatever inducement they gave, but she was so restless. You just see the movement. You keep, sometimes you do like this, sometimes you do like this, sometimes you do, sometimes it's an, and you know she's struggling to come out. And I told doctor, I said, he said, your water have not break. I said, but I told you my history. It doesn't break. He said, well, let's wait a little bit. Because if you break the water too early, it's bad. And you're not able to push, they might have to end up doing CS because the child will just be stuck there, and lack of water. There's a way he said there'll be lack of oxygen or so. So he waited. After a while, I check. They keep checking 1 centimeter, 6 centimeters. To cut the long story short, he had to rupture me, and in few minutes, again, I put to bed. Easy peasy, no complication. This time the baby was not even so big, but yet my stomach was so long because Mitchell is such a attention spotlight. She doesn't mind to be the one on the spotlight. So that's my pregnancy journey. And when I think about it, God has been good to me. So if you're a mom, what was your pregnancy journey like? Was it seamless? Do you encounter one or two things people might want to learn? You might think that, okay, now, based on this video, you can now see that having swollen leg is something you should really take seriously, right? So, what is your pregnancy journey? You might want to share one thing or two you learned during pregnancy in the comments. This time, Michelle, there was no tear, right? Because she was small. Jeff weighed 3.2 kg, considering that he's a first child. And Michelle weighs 2.8. So you see the difference, right? Considering that that's the first child, that's why I had a lot of tear. But this one, 2.8 kg, right? And during that time, life was life, and so there was no even money to be eating regularly. So that was that for that. And also, before I forget, having Michelle was a divine instruction. It was not a good timing for us physically, financially, but it was a divine instruction. And according to my husband, when I was going through a lot during those times, if you've not watched my first, second, and fourth episode where I share my story, please go and watch it so you understand. When I asked my husband that, why did God make us? Because I've been dreaming of having a child, a girl child, 1 year even before I decide to conceive. God is showing me the color, this, agenda and all of that. And if I think about it now, when I asked my husband that, why did God, during those times, why did God make us have another child? Then he made us give birth to this child into suffering. My husband said, no, you might not know, but it's because of this child that made us start going to church, which led to who we are now. Because he said he wanted us to, a pastor that will come and bless the child, consider that we've packed from the house where we used to live before. So we were not a church goer, right? We're spiritual, don't get me wrong, especially me, not my husband, but at the time he was not really spiritually inclined. And we'll need a pastor to come and pray, right? And he said he doesn't just want anyone, he wants someone. And then that's why he agreed to start going to church, which the church led to the process of why we are here. So if you've not watched those videos, so shall you see how God works? And say, okay, this and this, God even gave us the name to name her. We have had a name that we want to give her. The name, we call her that name, but we don't, it's not the general name everybody knows her with. Few days to the naming ceremony, my husband went into trance. Like when he wants to go into trance, he goes like he's in another realm. He doesn't know what is going on around. And then just like that, he started giving messages of what God says concerning her, telling us to open the scripture. This is what he says. We read the scripture, told us while he was in trance. And that was where we got a name that we gave to her, right? And I don't want to say the name, but there's a special name we call her. And each time I mention that name, it reminds me of God's promise over our life. It was divine instruction. So when all those things happen, I keep questioning, why give us a name? Why tell us to get pregnant? Was it not like we really want to get pregnant? Why this? I was using my family planning, and he said, this child is the reason why I started moving closer to God, because I needed a pastor to come and pray on naming day. And just like that, boom, he just got himself soaked in God. And it was just, that was just a time where God worked on him and all of that. Now he's more spiritually awoken and all. So guys, share me your pregnancy journey, your pregnancy. What lesson did you learn in this my pregnancy story? And also, what's your own pregnancy story like, right? And I bless God today. My firstborn is 6, just and the second one is 3. They're just 3 years gap, right? Which, if you must ask me, that's a good one, right? I like to gap my kids. And again, for those people that used to think that pregnancy, because I have some set of people that will say, if you get pregnant, your private part will get wide. I don't even know where you guys get that whole saying from. If you ask me, it depends on the person's body. Some people body are quick to slack. So if you're somebody that has a water body, this body that is not usually firm, maybe, I don't know, but I'm thinking having a tightened private part has nothing to do with whether you did CS or you did natural birth, because the private part can enlarge as much as possible and it can go back. So whether you have tear or not, it doesn't change. I don't know if tear though, if maybe they did not stitch it. I don't know, but I'm just saying it has nothing to do with whether you had natural birth or not. If you're tight, you're tight. If you're not tight, you're not tight. By nature, it doesn't have anything to do with natural birth or CS. I get this misconception a lot, and I see no reason why anyone will even think about it. Trust me, there's a way you would even get pregnant and you stay with all the oppressing seat baths. I hope the next time you want to have intimacy with your husband, it's not as if you're getting deflowered again, because it can be that much of a pain. So that's how much your body can, go back to its original, the way it used to be, or even way better. So if you're expecting mom, or you're a TCC mom and you're considering whether to do CS or natural bed because you feel like after you put to bed your private part will be wild, that's not true. Allow me to tell you, it depends on your body. Are you somebody, I don't know what factors, stress even makes a woman lose, that I've heard of, but it has something to do with it, right? I can assure you that there's a way they will massage you, do a seat bath and all of that. There's a high chance your body will get even way tighter, like you might experience some sort of pain even after wanting to do, meet with your spouse, right? So it has nothing to do with that. So share me, like, comment, share, subscribe, and also share me what you've been able to learn in this story, and also let me know what was unique about your pregnancy journey. As for me, it was that swollen leg. I didn't know a leg can get swollen that it blocks the place a child wants to come out from. What was your uniqueness during your pregnancy? What is a lesson during your own pregnancy that you would like to, educate others on? So drop it in the comment section. Likewise, if you learn a thing or two, please, from this, my story, please drop it in the comment section. It just sort of encourages me and let me know that, okay, I'm doing something just to make my head swing small, Show me love, show love, show love, show workings. Don't be cha. You got to show love. All right. That being said, that we've come to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was educative. My name is Damilola Joshua once again, and I am known as Dakins on all social media platforms. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.